Emotional content is filmed on Whadjuk Noongar land. This podcast acknowledges the traditional owners and custodians of country. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Come for the stories, stay for the connection. I'm your host, Amy Jane Brand, and this is your weekly dose of emotional content. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Emotional Content. I am so excited for our next guest. He is an Australian treasure, the OG influencer, the one and only Coleman. If you've followed Kurt's career, you will know that he has done a lot of interviews in his time. Whether it's been on the news, other podcasts, or even on his own podcast, Kurt has done a lot. But I'm proud to say that this conversation is one where not only myself, but you will get to know him on such a deeper level. Kurt's journey has always been such an inspiration to me. No matter what age he has been, from the very beginning, you have to respect the fact that he has stayed true to himself from then all the way up until now. His content is always transparent and he has always been authentic in everything that he does. Listening to Kurt's vulnerability in this episode is so inspiring, and I just know that you guys will absolutely love it as well. It makes me so happy to be able to bring this conversation to your ears. So without further ado, I give you my beautiful friend and major inspiration, Kurt Coleman. All right, Kurt Coleman. Welcome to Emotional Welcome to Emotional Content.
I'm so proud.
Oh, lovely.
And I'm so honoured to be here.
Thank you. I'm honoured to have you.
Thank you.
The OG influencer.
Yeah.
It's an absolute honour. So I would love to start from the beginning with you, going over your childhood. What does that look like? Where were you from? Where were you born?
I was born in Gold Coast and I grew up there I have like a pretty small family, I would think. You know, like some people have like 40 people in their family. Mine's like, I don't know, like 20, I guess, like all up.
Yeah.
And people always were so weird towards me. Like I remember even my family telling me things like I would be in a pram and like someone would just come up and say like, why does your child look like that? Like they would just start saying stuff about me or to me. So it's so funny because like I think I've always there's something about me that does something to people even since I was a kid.
Wow.
And I get told this stuff, and I remember even when I was like a bit older than that, just always the same thing. So it was like in the future when I became known, I was like used to it already, like people just treating me like that or like saying random stuff about me because it always kind of happened. So it's really random.
I feel like you're an old soul and you just come.
I know I'm an old soul,
100%.
sure.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, what is this place? Like,
yeah.
It's so crazy.
I'm back here again.
But like, you know, there's so many random things that when I was young, like I was so obsessed with ancient Egypt that like I would even just speak Egyptian words when I was like 3 years old, and I would be so obsessed with it and, you know, study into it, and I knew all the names of people even before people taught me anything. So I was like, if I had a past life, it would have been in some Egypt or something because I was so obsessed with it, you know.
That's really interesting.
Always since, and it just even connects to so many other things in my life, and I don't know, I just have some connection there. But
you definitely have a connection there.
I've always loved, just even since I was so young, I've always loved being on camera, filming myself, just being out there. And I'm just like an artistic person, really. Like I don't really like care heaps about other stuff, to be honest. Like,
you're
you know,
born creative.
Yeah. And like I love it, and I just love feeling pretty and, you know, being funny and having fun with your body language and yourself, you know. And I feel like I've always done that. And that's how that all started for me, because I was already making videos, taking photos since I was like 5 years old. Every Christmas, I would just say to my parents, can I get a new camera? Can I get a new camera? Like that's all I asked for. So, you know, this has always been a natural thing to me. It was just when social media came around, I actually had somewhere to put it on.
Yeah.
So I would just do that, and I didn't expect anything. I was just like, it's just somewhere to put it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just fun to me.
What star sign are you?
Aquarius.
Aquarius, yeah. You're giving Aquarius energy. Yeah.
But I have a Leo moon, so that's why I'm like out there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So what was your relationship like with your parents growing up?
It was like, my relationship with my parents has always been good, but like there was just, you know, a lot of family dramas went on like in my whole family, and just people didn't like each other, and
Yeah, same.
there was like, you know, people were having depression and stuff. So me and my brothers actually all got split up when I was like probably 7. So we didn't get to choose where we were living for like 4 years or something. So we were actually in like the foster system, but my grandparents were my foster parents and one of my brother's foster parents, and then my other brother lived with his dad. So we were all fully split up. So we literally grew up so differently. Like, and then when you're 12, but I don't know if it's the same now, but you get to choose who you want to live with when you're 12. So I just went back to my mum, and then one of my younger brothers was with my grandparents, and then the other brother was with his dad. So, you know, we all grew up in different lives.
Yeah, wow.
Different worlds. And, you know, it was just so crazy. And even that whole system was so crazy, because it was like, you know, I would just write in my diary, like, I miss my mum, or just saying my feelings and stuff. And this is like what the system was like. It would have people coming to your school bag and take it out, and then they would read everything and then like question me on like why I'm saying this and what this means. Like, so it was just like you're so analyzed about everything. And I feel like as well that actually like helped me with what I was going to do in the future as well, because you're always so super analyzed when you're known or people know you. So I'm like thankful for anything that's bad that's happened, because it's like helped me in a way, or, you know, given me something to learn or like get used to, or just be stronger.
Made you the person you are today. Yeah, totally prepared you for social media.
Or just, being out there in general and putting yourself out there. Like, you're going to cop a lot. And I think everything that happened in my life before just made me a bit like, whatever.
Yeah. That's a total invasion of privacy though. Yes. I wonder if it's sort of the same.
I know. I actually have talked about it before online, and so many people say like that it's so much worse now.
Really?
That, you know, I was lucky that it was my grandparents that were looking after me, because the stories I hear from other kids, like, it's just so bad with what the other, you know, parents and like looking after people do. It's so crazy.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that it was still within family.
Yeah.
You said about previously being in the foster system.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful that it was still within family.
I'm so thankful, but I feel so sad for anyone that...
I know.
Because it's like full on.
It's really scary. Yeah. I wonder how they get people looking after kids, like how they screen them. I hope they would screen them.
I just think it's really messed up. Like, I don't know. I just don't think it's right, like how they do things. So I think, I don't know about other states, but this is just Queensland.
Okay, so this was all in Queensland. And then your siblings, were they still all in Queensland as well? Like, did you see each other still?
Yeah, but we would like kind of have to have like these visits where like worker comes with us, and like they have to watch everything you're doing. And like, even if you were telling like someone in your family something, they would be like, what did you say? Like, they would make you say it loud. You couldn't just say something like to each other. They would have to know what you're saying.
Oh
like,
my gosh.
So yeah, it was like, those are the things I remember, and I'm just like, that is so unneeded. And nothing dangerous really was happening. It was just that certain people in my family were struggling with depression and just weren't being able to look after themselves. It wasn't really like very dangerous or anything, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, you know, people that aren't even in dangerous situations can go through that system, you know? So yeah.
What was the moment that the foster system came in? Was there something specific that happened? Was it school?
It was just like, you know, certain people in my family just weren't looking after themselves properly, and, you know, I couldn't get to school on time sometimes and things, and that was just basically why they stepped in. And then also a lot of family drama, people saying this and that and this and that. So it was a massive thing going on.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
You've touched on school not being the most the best experience before.
Yeah.
I've also had a really similar experience to you. So I'd love to talk to you about that. When did you start finding school difficult? Was it the teachers were horrible with you from the start? Was it kids being horrible? Did you go through much bullying?
Yeah, everything. It was honestly, mainly teachers were so mean to me. Like, you know, I always got along with everyone at school, and like I was always friends with a lot of people in different grades and everything. The teachers were really like mean to me, and I just think, you know, I'm not trying to say I was some amazing student, because I wasn't. I genuinely didn't care about school, and I definitely know why now though, because obviously all that stuff was going on in my family and stuff, so it's like hard to focus on like something like sitting at a desk and learning something when, like, you know, you're having so much troubles going on when you just get home.
Yeah.
And also, because of that system I was in, I went to 6 schools. So how could you like be stable? So basically the thing with me was like, I never had stability with anything really. Like school, my life, like it was just, I never felt like I was put down somewhere and I was going to be there for a while, you know?
Had some roots somewhere.
Yeah, I never had that. Whereas my brothers, they did. It was like completely different. So like, you know, it's hard for like even me to like relate to them or them to relate to me in those ways, because they went to the same school their whole thing and, you know, graduated with the same people. I had to every year or two change schools, and 6 schools. And it actually taught me so much so, because it was like each time I'd go to a new school, I'd be like, okay, like I know how to just make friends with everyone and be popular. You know, you would learn these things, which is so crazy. But because I went to so many, it was like I just had a new chance every time. And I feel like as well, that taught me so much about not social media, because I wasn't even around then, but just being in public and, you know, knowing people and connecting people, because I had to do it so often at such a young age that it kind of just made me learn like all these things of like how you present yourself and put yourself out there. So it was like, you know, so many things were like teaching me things.
For now, that's so interesting.
And I always wanted to do something that's just on camera or being myself my whole life. Like I always was videoing myself since I was young. So I don't know, I'm thankful for all these like bad things, because it actually gave me a lot of things that I needed to do or like know in the future. So I don't know.
So much wisdom from it.
Positive, yeah.
Yeah, no, you are super positive.
Yeah.
That's interesting too, 6 schools and building up that many friends everywhere when you did start doing social media.
I think that honestly, like, I think if none of that happened to me, I wouldn't even be doing this ever, because I knew so many people on the Gold Coast, like just because I went to 6 schools. I'd go to 5 parties and like one at the top of the Gold Coast, one at the other end, like just because people would like text me, come here, like, and because I knew so many people from all these schools, it was just like, I think that was like the base of me being known, because then people would like talk about me and share all my stuff around when I actually started to get known, because they, you know, knew me. So they would just share it around already. So it just kind of like, I don't know, it was really weird. Like, I feel like, if I didn't go to all those schools, it probably wouldn't even be like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just became the OG influencer.
Yeah. And I didn't even know I was doing anything. I was just like, I'm just being myself and being crazy.
Yeah, no, bro, we all love it. So when did Perf Like Kurt come about? Was this when everything blew up for you? Was it around Perf Like Kurt? Like, what was the first post that really set you up?
It wasn't like that. Like, that's most people's stories, or like, especially these days, it's like a post and they're like known overnight. But like, it wasn't really like that for me. It was like I said, people knew me in the Gold Coast. So it was really slowly over time. Like, I just remember I started working at schoolies in 2012 when I was like underage. I was like 15 or something. And I did schoolies, and I remember people would come up to me from like Bundaberg. Like, they go, I'm from Bundaberg, I know you. And like, it was just like random, but it was like slow. Like, it wasn't like overnight. I was just like, that's so random. And then like months later, I'd be like on a train in Brisbane and someone would just be like, giving me a receipt of a train receipt and be like, I want an autograph. Can I have this? And then I remember the last school I went to, it was like in 2013. I was in year 11 and I got expelled from the other school before that. And then I was like, literally, in this last school I went to, I chose to go back. Like, I actually was already like, oh, I'm going to leave school. And I was a bad student at the other schools. Like, I owned that. I know I was. This last school I went to, I literally had such a different mindset. I was like, no, I'm really just going to try and finish. I'm going to be nice to everyone. I'm not going to react to anyone. And I didn't.
Yeah.
Because I started to get more known then, people would actually surround me at school and ask for my autograph. Like, so many people, like
Wow.
the younger grades and everything. And people would just make up stuff. They would go, he walked past me and gave me a rude look, and it made me upset. When I wasn't even doing anything, I actively tried to like be a perfect student, you know? And the teachers would be like, you think you're Ricky Martin and all this. Like, it was so weird.
Ricky.
Yeah, no, I'm like, I didn't even know Ricky Martin, babe. Like,
Yeah,
what do you
what
mean?
do you mean?
Yeah. And,
Wow, so the teachers had a problem with it.
yeah, like but that was always the case. Like, this is why I always say teachers were the worst bullies. I remember going into a class one day and the teacher literally brought up a photo of me on Google, and it was like just me sitting there. Someone took of me eating a banana at school, and they said, if you have photos like this online, you will never get a job. And everyone take note, because this kid's not going to go anywhere, because look at the photos that are going to follow him for the rest of his life. And I was like,
Eating a
this
fucking
is
piece of fruit.
crazy. Yeah. So there was like things like that all the time where they would just single me out, and that was
That's
like
awful.
from the whole time of school. Like, that wasn't even just from that time, but I was always singled out, always like walk into a class with a substitute teacher I've never met, and they'd go, you have to sit at the front, I've heard about you. Like, there was just always this like,
Oh my gosh.
you're this and you're that, like, you know. And I would just play into it. I'd actually just be like, oh, whatever, like, and I'd be rude back.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
Like,
so
if you
interesting.
think I'm so horrible, I will be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you're an adult speaking like that to a kid.
Yes, I know. That's the thing that, like, I'm so glad that I just never took it. I always was like, you know, I would give it back to them.
Yeah,
or
good.
I would just never be nice. And that got me expelled from 2 schools. But, like, I don't care, because how can you learn and be like a child like that? And also just everything that I was like going through before, like, I just had no chance, really.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I'm thankful that like I got through, because like, yeah, it's crazy. Like, so many people, if they were going through all of that, probably just wouldn't even like function, you know.
Did you finish year 12?
No, I got expelled from that last school, and then straight after that, literally like a month after that, I started going on TV. I had all these like interviews coming.
Wow.
So I just literally left school, and then I was just going like on a whole another journey, basically.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and I was just like, whatever. And then that made people more angrier. Like, my friends and stuff would tell me the teachers are like bringing up all this stuff and like talking about it and going, why is he on this? And like, you know, just so crazy. And I
So
didn't care
salty.
though. Like, I literally didn't care, and I still don't. But like, I was just like, you're jealous, you know. And
Yeah.
I thought that. Like, I actually thought that at the time. I think as well, like, that was like my defense for everything. Like, when I was younger, and you know, it helped me get through it. But I was always just like to everyone, you're jealous, like, you wish, fuck you. And I think that a lot of people were, but that was always my defense. Like,
Yeah.
oh, well, you're jealous. Even if I did something wrong, oh, well, you're jealous.
Well, your big personality and confidence probably makes people uncomfortable.
I don't know.
Like when they were younger, like teachers, they'd be like, oh, look at this kid. Just,
That's what I mean.
you know?
And I think that's the thing. Like, I never just tried to be in the box, and I don't care. Like, I just don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I've never really cared to be like someone else.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, that gets people, especially
It does.
like teachers and stuff, because a lot of them, I think, go there because they didn't have a good you know, at school or whatever, and they want to be in charge now. And that's what a lot of the teachers actually like to me. It's like, I can tell you now, the bullies of the school, I'll talk down, like, you know,
Yeah.
they just want to be in control.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but definitely some.
I had a really similar experience. Like I got expelled from school and stuff as well.
What did you do?
Oh, mine's a little bit different to yours. I had a lot of problems with other students, and I actually got in a lot of physical fights when I was at school. It was the only way that people actually stopped giving me a hard time.
But you have to stand up for yourself, you know? And I always say this, like, I don't believe in violence, but sometimes, like, you actually just need to, like, slap someone in the face or wake them up.
Yeah, especially kids, because they're just so ruthless. Like
100%.
Yeah, but unfortunately, a teacher got in the middle of us and I smacked the teacher. It wasn't...
That would have got you really in trouble.
That got me in a lot of trouble, I got expelled instantly. But it was so, like, rightly so, like, assaulting a teacher is like a whole new level.
No, but, like,
but I just
you're in that
red.
zone, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So, unfortunately that happened. And I had...
Did you go back to another one after?
I went back to the same one that I left.
Oh, yeah.
So I just, like, the teachers never gave me the time of day because I'd spent so much of my schooling years being so naughty.
Yeah.
Things going on at home. Yeah. So it was like escapism, didn't care about school.
I so relate to that.
Yeah. So, and then teachers just, even when I tried to clean my act up and I was like, okay, like I'm going to try to do better, I'd get blamed for everything.
Yeah.
So there was like, if something happened in the class, it was immediately my fault regardless.
And I think, like, you know, that was like me in a way because I went to another school. So I actually did have a clean slate, but it's like, it doesn't matter. I think if you're just like that, like I really tried my hardest at that school. I had like 3 months in between of doing nothing. And I was like, I'm actually bored. I want to go back to another school.
Yeah.
But it literally, like, it's like you can't win. If it's just, if it's going to be like that, it's going to be like that. So I think, you know, you can try as hard as you can. But if people are going to act like that to you, whatever.
And I had a lip. Like the teachers would say something, I was pretty quick-lipped. Like
I'm exactly the same.
I'd have an answer for everything. So that didn't help me at all.
No, I love that you get it because I feel like not that many people have had this crazy experience like that in schools, you know, because a lot of people were just like to me, you know, why couldn't you just keep going? I'm like, I couldn't. Like, that's the same with you. How can you just keep going no matter what? Yeah.
And not like, as I have said previously, traditional learning isn't for everyone.
No.
So with Perf Like Kurt and when things were blowing up, did you have any negative encounters with followers or...
Yeah. Oh, and it's like, I didn't even consider people, like, I never thought of it as like followers because it was like, I always had like this hating brigade after me my whole life.
Yeah.
Just like, just groups of people that just didn't like me. So I never even thought, oh, it's because I'm online. Like, I just would be like, oh my God, like this person's like stalking me or like they hate me. And like, there was like so many things, like, people would chase me down. They would come to my house. They'd put like notes under my door saying like, we're going to kill your family. Like there was the scariest things. And also just people would follow me. I would leave my house. I lived very close to Pacific Fair, like on the Gold Coast. So people would literally follow me. As soon as I left my house, someone would see me in the street. They would follow me all day. Like, because when I lived there as well, I would just walk everywhere because it was like, it's really small. It's kind of similar, I guess. Like you could walk everywhere and people would just follow me all day. I'd go to the shops, they'd follow me the whole day, then they'd come home, so then they found out where I lived, and like it was just so scary. And like just always people trying to like punch me up, spit on me, like you know. I've even only gone to one music festival because when I went, it was like so scary. This was around that time too. And people were just throwing drinks at me, cans at me, like chasing me. Like I had to get like the place's security to like help me because it was like all surrounding me. And like it just, I was like, I'm never going to like these places now. Like I still haven't even gone to a place like that because I'm like, oh, like I know it wouldn't even happen these days because it's not like that anymore to anyone because there's so many people. But I think
you'd still have people come up. But
no, they would come up to me, but it just wouldn't be like such like targeted because I was so targeted because there was not really that many people doing this thing at that time, and it was just like all people were targeted towards me. Like it was just really crazy, and So yeah, I would just even walk down the street and people would just throw an egg at me. It happened all the
Oh
time.
my God.
And I always said to my friends, where the hell did they pull an egg out to just get me randomly? Like
That
it
is
would
so
happen
weird.
all the time. I know. And it actually happened so much that me and my friends were like, how does this happen? Like,
Well, they're just carrying fucking eggs around.
they must have, and they must have been actively looking for me, like because
Yeah, 100%.
I was always in the same areas all the time. So I just feel like people must have known that I'd be there walking down this certain street, like I don't know, eventually sometime in the day, because I would always go to the same places. So, yeah, it was like just so strange, and just all the things people make up about me. Like I came to Melbourne around this time in 2014 or whatever, and I was working here doing like a club appearance, and I was 17. So I did all of these club things so young. So I worked in a club on the Gold Coast when I was 15 at the door. This was like just when I was starting to get known, and people were like so hectic there, and it was so crazy. But like, you know, I was always in these adult environments. So even when I became more known, then clubs were like paying me when I was like 17 to come just rock up there and just talk to everyone, take photos, and then leave for like an hour, basically. So I came to Melbourne to do that. And this is one of the craziest things too. I went to a shopping centre called Fountain Gate, and it's off Catholic Hymn. Like I just went there with my friends.
Yeah.
And one of my friends lived near there. And all these people were just yelling out at me or whatever. And I was just like used to that. But it was so weird. Like my phone died. I had a really like dinged up phone, and I always have like it was smashed. It was just so the battery died really fast, and my phone died. So I just couldn't contact anyone. And then I literally, when we left, like 2 hours later, I plugged my phone in my friend's car to charge it, and I had all these missed calls, like going crazy, like everyone in my family, all my friends.
Oh shit.
And I'm like, what? Like, what the
fuck
hell?
is going
And I called them, and my grandparents are like, oh my God, like, are you okay? We're so worried about you. I was like, I'm literally fine. Like, what do you mean? They're like, oh, there's someone put a post up online saying that they bashed you up, they've stolen your phone, stolen your money, like they're after you and all this. And I was like, no, I was like, people were yelling out to me at the shopping centre, but nothing happened. So someone literally just made up that they see me at the shopping centre and that they bashed me up and that they took my phone. Like they made it up. All my friends and family in the Gold Coast are like calling me thinking I'm dead. Like they were saying like they're going to call the police and all this. And I was like, I'm fine. Like nothing's even happened. It was just so strange. Like the weirdest things like that. And
People rogue.
just
And that's the internet
so
used to
weird.
be rogue.
Yeah, right.
Really bad.
But
like,
people wanted to like brag about like doing something bad to me, you know, and that was like a trend basically, like just to like bash me up or spit on me or throw something at me, like that was a trend. And it's just so funny because half the time it never happened. It was just all made up, and it would just go everywhere, and like to the point where like my grandparents are seeing like it will come up on their Facebook.
oh my
I
God.
was like, okay, I'm actually fine, but whatever. They didn't believe me almost. It was so weird. They
Wow.
actually almost didn't believe me. They're like, but we're reading it. And I'm like, well, I'm okay. You can hear my
bless
voice
them.
right now.
Yeah, yeah.
They're like, but your phone was off. I'm like, it died. Like,
Oh, yeah. How's the coincidence?
I know. And like, it
Oh
was
my
just
gosh. Everyone
so
was so
crazy.
worried.
I'll never forget that because it was just like the weirdest thing ever. Like, you know,
Do you
strange.
think the media, because I remember you being on the news and stuff,
Yeah.
like, do you think that contributed to the hate because they were
Yeah.
kind of taking the piss a bit
Yeah. And
because
like,
of the self-love movement? And back then you
100%.
could not love yourself. Like I remember like, fuck, if anyone was even giving themselves a compliment when I was younger, they were like, you're up yourself. Like,
yeah. Oh, that's why people, I think in the beginning really didn't like me because
Yeah.
they were like, you're conceited. Teachers would call me narcissist all the time. And I'd go, what? Because I love myself. And they go, yeah, that's narcissistic. So, you know, I'm getting told this by like 45-year-olds, like
awful.
random people. And like, yeah, when I go on the news, because I was doing like a newspaper or magazine every week, like
Yeah.
just churning these out. And like, I was like so young. So I'm just saying what a teenager would say,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
going like, yeah, babe, like I'm sitting
Yeah.
there, like they're just doing my makeup and I'm just sitting there doing the interview, like not giving a fuck.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean? And so it just added to that. Like people kind of like expected me, because I'm like on the media and stuff, that I have to be like so smart and that I'm so put together and everything. But like I was literally just a kid. So what do you expect? And like people didn't expect that I would just be like a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just so strange when I think back to those times, because yeah, and I was always around adults, and I feel like they just expected me to be some like worldly known adult when I've never even like traveled anywhere. Like I just,
I feel like they took advantage a little bit.
oh, so many people took
Yeah.
advantage of me. Even then later on, like when I turned 18, I had all like the injectors clinics and everything messaging me, and I was like, oh,
I was going to ask you about that.
yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. Because they were like saying to me, it's just like in between like getting a haircut done and like, getting Botox. It's like, it's nothing. Like, you're fine. Like, you should just get it, it'll go away. And like, they were wanting me to do it. And I was thinking that like they were helping me or something, but they literally were like obviously trying to drum up business or whatever. So I just go and get it done, and then literally like so much stuff done in my face, like fillers everywhere, like lips, like chin and jaw and all this stuff. And like literally I remember, because I only got everything done in 1 year. So in 2015, that's the only times I ever got fillers or
Really?
Botox. I never had anything done after that. And it's so funny as well, because that's followed me my whole life. Like people always just say to me like, oh, how do you look like that? What do you have done? I'm like, I have nothing done. Nothing now. Haven't even for 9 years. Like, you know what I mean? And people like hold that so much to me and like think I have all this stuff done. I'm like, yeah, I get skin treatments and I work out and I take care of myself, but I don't get anything in my face, and I haven't for 9 years. It's all gone now. And yeah, like it's just so weird. And even stories I get asked to do from like ABC and stuff, they want to talk about cosmetic
same.
injectables and
Yeah.
stuff. I'm like, I don't get it. I got it 9 years ago.
Yeah,
like these
yeah.
things that like I've done when I was so young, it's always attached to me, when it literally means nothing to me now. It hasn't for 9 years,
Yeah,
It's, like,
yeah.
so strange.
Yeah. You look so good without it though. Did you get it specifically dissolved, or did you just let it
No,
go?
it's just all gone. And
Yeah.
like, it's just, yeah, I only had lips and Botox and chin and jaw, and that it was really bad. Like it felt like rocks. Like it was like, I thought it would be like a smooth, like, across everything, but it was like a rock here, a rock here, a rock here, a rock. Like it was like not what I would expect. And
Yeah.
it felt very uncomfortable. So that was actually why I stopped doing it, because it felt just fake. Like I could feel rocks in my jaw, and
Yeah.
it just was weird. And yeah, even so, like with PERC, like Kurt and all that, I didn't even make that up. One of my fans literally just said that one day, and I was just like, that's so funny. And then I said it, and then it just like became
Blew up.
this massive thing. And then it was like people were saying like they want to be PERC like Kurt and get injectables and stuff. And then that's when I was kind of like, I'm not saying this anymore. So I literally stopped fully saying it completely after that, just because I was like thinking like I'm making like a bad impression to people, because I was like, oh my God, there's like the chicks were saying they're like 15 and they're getting their parents to like sign to get it done because of me. And I was like, oh, this is really bad. Like I didn't like expect that to happen.
That was with injectables?
Yeah.
Were
And
you getting what age were you getting Botox?
18. Yeah.
Fuck, that is young.
I know. It's crazy
That is
because I don't
really
even have
young.
wrinkles now. Like
Yeah.
it's all about skincare and just doing treatments, taking care of yourself. And like, I can't believe like this is like literally 9 years ago. Like I'm 27 now. So just insane that like I did all that and that people wanted and enabled such a young person to do that. So yeah, I've been taken advantage of by so many people, but I just think whatever, I'm just going to keep going, make myself better and not like care about them,
Yeah. Yeah. They've got such bigger regulations on all of the injectable stuff now, like cosmetic nurses and stuff. They can't even post about what specific things people are getting done. And like, I think they've taken it a little bit too far, but also when you hear about that, like 15-year-olds wanting to go and get it done.
See, that scared me. And like, that's,
And that's not your fault.
No,
it's just crazy.
not. It's actually the injector's fault.
Totally.
And I didn't think that at all. I was actually thinking like, this is like really bad because I wouldn't like want to put that to a young kid. And like, that's the thing. I had to have all these like pressures of like, I didn't even realize because it happened like not even overnight, but it was like when I turned 18, it was kind of like, oh, you're an adult now, so what you do actually matters, like, you know, in the world. Because there would be articles coming out saying like bad stuff, and like it would be bad influence and like not really good. So I was trying to like become an adult as well at the same time and be like, I have to be smarter, you know, even
That's
though
really
I never
hard.
had a chance to be, because
That's really
everything
hard.
that went on before that. So I was like, you know, just trying to be like normal. And then also because everything was going on, I was becoming addicted to drinking. And, you know, I was just drinking like every single day. And then all my jobs were like, come party at this, come party at that. So it was
Yeah.
like even getting me money to get wasted. Like it was seriously crazy.
That is so crazy.
That went on for years after that. That was like literally up until I was like 21 of like just getting paid to go partying. So it was like a long time of that and just drinking all the time and like making me money. So it was so weird. Like I had to just keep doing it.
Yeah,
you know? And
of course.
And it helped me just like block everything out at the same time, which is so bad. Like I would obviously never do that now, but yeah, like just crazy. And it's so crazy that I got a sickness that I can't drink. Like it's just everything is like, I always try and take the lessons in, you know? And
Yeah.
I think this made me believe that there's something out there that like teaches you or tells you stuff, because it just changed my whole life, you know?
Oh, everything happens for a reason,
Yeah.
100%. Would you say that I mean, I was underage drinking. I was into all kinds of drugs and everything, so no judgment here, but would you say that because you were in that industry, even working on the door, were you underage drinking?
No, I
You weren't?
wasn't then. I was underage drinking since I was 12.
Yeah.
But
That's the same
when I
time
was
with me.
working in the clubs, I wasn't, because cops would come in like every 10 minutes, literally, because
True.
they knew I was there.
Wow.
So I wasn't then, but schoolies ones and stuff, they would give me drinks.
Wow. Oh my God.
I was underage then. One time even, I remember like they were giving me drinks, and I was in like one of the VIP things or whatever with all the people of Big Brother or something. And they gave me alcohol and I was drinking it. And then a security came up to me and was like, how many drinks do you had? And I was like, oh, like 10 or whatever. And then they said, get out, you're underage. And I literally, I don't know, sometimes I feel like when you're really drunk, as soon as you go into the cold air, like you just get way drunker. So I literally walked out. Or no, got pushed out actually. And then I don't even remember anything. Woke up in the Red Frogs hotel. Like they have like these people that like look after young kids who are wasted or whatever. So I woke up in this
Wow.
hotel, and they're literally like people having a party in there. And I was like in a bed and I'm like, oh my God, where am I? And then I remember, this is online as well, I went downstairs because I was like, oh my God, this is so weird. I want to go home. I had a red cup with water in it that they got me just because I was at a party. So I was drinking water, like trying to sober up. Police came up to me and were like, you're drinking alcohol, because it was in a red cup. I said,
Yeah.
it's not alcohol, it's water. I was like, drink it. And they're like, we don't know, we're not going to drink that. Like, you know, they were very serious. And then I was like, it's water. And they were like, we're going to have to arrest you. And then I threw the water at them. I said, whatever. And then they fully arrested me. And then I have
Oh
this
my
video that's online. I actually put it on TikTok like 6 months ago because it like came up as a memory, and I'm crying in the police station being like, oh my God, like this is so, like, why are you doing this to me? The police are trying to kill me. Like I was like so drunk. And yeah, so, you know, I was always capturing just the craziest moments and like not even really knowing I was doing it.
I think people just love the authenticity though. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's like everything is so filtered now and you were always just so raw and honest. So it was just so
Yeah, and I
entertaining.
still try and keep that.
100%.
I just I don't really relate with all the like calculated stuff. Like I just, if I think something and I want to say it, I will, you know?
Yeah.
And I've offended so many people, but it's like, you can't please everyone.
Yeah.
And I've spent my life doing things, getting the backlash, and then thinking, oh, I need to like please them. And then it's just too much. You can't, you know, and you're never going to win. So what's the point? Just say what you want.
Exactly. No, I love that about you. And I love even your new videos now as well, just talking about subjects.
Yeah.
And I feel like people like as much as there's haters out there, people really appreciate the honesty and
100%.
transparency. There's always people that just really appreciate it.
And I get that. I get so many messages and, you know, even things I say, like, I get a lot of messages in private being like, I wish I could say things like this, but everyone will be angry. And I'm like, well, people get angry at me, but I think if you really think something, that's like your body telling you think that. Like, it's not just made up out of nowhere. Like, you're meant to think things for a reason, you know? And even if people tell me to think the opposite, what I think is always what I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't change my mind easily.
Yeah.
And it's like who I am. Like, if you believe something, that's what you believe. And if other people believe something, why can't I think the opposite? Hello.
I know. It's going back into that like glass box again.
Yeah.
Like in Perth when I was younger, if you had a different opinion or did anything differently, it was just like, as like you with the self-love, like people just would not accept you no matter what. Like I had to move away from Perth because I felt like I was just in a box there.
Yeah.
Now I love it now that, you know, I'm older. But yeah, I really like resonate with people just if you don't fit that thing that they think you should be, like they just outcast you for it.
Yeah. People still try and do that to me now. Like they still try and band against me and all that, but it doesn't work because I have so many people that support me for 12, 13 years or whatever. They know that I'm like that and they're not shocked by it. So
you have loyal followers.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like it's like you can always try and like dull me down and band against me and try and like cancel me or whatever, but people that actually know and love me, that have followed me and appreciate what I say, and I've always been outspoken, like they know that that's who I am and I'm being real, and they can see they would rather me being like that than following someone that like just goes with every trend to please people. So it's like you can't ever push me fully down because I have people that actually support me because they actually know what I'm like. So, you know, good luck.
Exactly. One thing I wanted to touch on was where did you learn to DJ and when did that start for you?
So, like I said, how I was like, you know, getting asked to go to clubs and do all this. So this was like 2015 and I was already working in clubs for years before that, since like 2013. And I would always tell the DJs to change a song. I'd be like, put this on. Like I'd just tell them what song, and like all the DJs were always like, you need to become a DJ. And I was like, oh my God, that's so hard. Like I can't do that. And then places actually started asking me to DJ. Like they would just say, can we book you to DJ? Like even though I didn't know how. And I'd be like,
that's awesome.
Okay. So I would literally go and pretend to DJ like at the start and like people would be doing it for me and I would just be like pretending, like I'd just be picking the songs actually and they would mix it in for me. And then I actually learnt like a year after that at Sydney DJ school and just learned how to do it properly. And like I've always made music my whole life. Like I actually make music from scratch just for like fun. I've never released anything or even finished a song. It's just something I always do to like relax. And so I really just picked it up so fast. It was really easy for me. Like I actually was like, oh, okay. Like it actually made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I learned and then I just started doing that. And I've always loved music, so it was just such an easy thing for me, but it was bad at the same time because it just kept prolonging like the partying and stuff for so long. And now when I do it, it's just so good because I'm such a different person now. Like I can go to everything sober, but put on this like partying persona for a couple of hours and literally come home and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to sleep now. You know, like it's just such a different world now for me. I actually enjoy it so much more because I'm in the moment. Yeah. You know, and it's so different, like thinking of what I used to DJ like compared to now, because it was just like always a party before, but now it's like it's a party, but I'm like acting like it is. You know what I mean?
I call that the Pamela Anderson method, where she would put on the full persona of like, she's such a smart woman behind closed doors, such a beautiful like mother as well. But she put on, you know, the big boobs and that whole like Barbie doll persona. Like, I understand that because when I was DJing, I always had to have a few shots before.
Oh, yeah. I honestly don't think, I thought that I wouldn't even be able to like function without at least like a glass of champagne at any event before.
Yeah.
And I thought I wouldn't be able to talk to people, and I thought I wouldn't even be confident. And it's so crazy because after not drinking for almost 4 years and having to stop because of your health, it's funny because it's like a full circle thing. It's come around, like it's actually within me, the confidence. And why did I forget that I had it? Because before I even was partying crazy, I was always confident, even sitting in school. Like, you know, it is me. And I feel like a lot of people forget that when they're caught up in drinking and partying, because you are that just yourself. You don't need other things to make you that. And that's the thing that I've realized the most in the last few years, and going back to events, going back to do all the things that I used to do. And I'm doing it in such a different way now. And it's actually better. Like I'm having more fun than I ever did. I feel like it was more empty before, and I was blacked out half the time. But now it's like I really enjoy doing these jobs, and I'm fully sober doing it, and it's just fun, you know?
Yeah, that's impressive because being on the microphone and stuff, I'd always need a few shots.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, I so get that.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's in your head because it's actually you. Like you're actually just being you, but you're just thinking you need that.
Yeah.
You know, and I've fully realized that it's not just me that's that, like everyone in the world who thinks they need a shot or something to have a certain way, that's from you. Like your confidence or what you're acting like, that's from you. You don't need to rely on the drink to do that, you know?
Yeah. So for anybody that doesn't know you, which I'm sure won't be that many people, but you obviously had a big party lifestyle growing up.
Yeah.
And had to grow up very quickly because of being in the media so soon. Since you've started a big healing journey and you look completely different now as well, just mind, body and soul, you've completely evolved. I want to start from how that began for you. You obviously had a really big health scare that you touched on just before. What actually happened?
So literally, it's really random. So when I actually got sick, I didn't even really drink, really. I drank like once a month. I got sick in 2021. It was like literally in the middle of lockdown in Melbourne. So it was like in between the 2.5 years of being locked up. So just one night, it was when I was recording my podcast that I had for like 4 episodes. And me and my best friend made it together. And every time we'd film it, we'd have glasses of wine. Like that was the only time I really drank. So I had like a couple glasses of wine. And next day woke up with a pain in my stomach. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? And then I thought, oh, I need to go to the doctor. And then literally 10 minutes later, I was like, no, I need to go to the hospital, like just ramped up.
Wow.
And then like I lived really close to a hospital. So I just went to the closest one straight across the road. And my partner wasn't even allowed in or anything because it was COVID. So I'm like, and they're treating me like I was a psycho. Like I literally would go in I was going in because I just went straight to a public hospital, even though I had a health fund. I just went to the closest one. So obviously public hospitals have a lot of like drug addicts and stuff. And this is near Richmond where there's like so many drug addicts. So they thought I was like a drug addict. And to be honest with you, like it must have been coming, this sickness, because my hair was like falling out and I was very skinny around this time. So I feel like it was getting sick, and that glass of wine just tipped me to get really sick. And so I probably looked a bit druggy because I wasn't really healthy at the time. I remember just going into the waiting room and they were like, oh, you just have to wait here till we get you. And it was like 4 hours or whatever. But like after an hour, I was saying, I physically feel like I'm dying. I need something. Like I've never felt this in my life. And they were treating me like, no, you sit down. Like they were actually talking to me like that. And I was like, I feel like I'm dying. I've never had this pain. It started like moving into my back. Like it was like going everywhere, like the worst pain you could imagine. Like, and I've had pretty hectic sicknesses in the past. This was like on another level. It was like my body was shutting down, feeling like it was so scary. And I couldn't eat for like days. They actually just hooked me up for a drip, and then they took like 4 days to find out what was wrong with me. And then they were just like, you've got pancreatitis, which is caused from partying. And like, they just asked like my history and stuff. And I was like, I was partying since I was so young. So basically, because I was drinking since I was 12, it's like, you know, and nothing's 100%, but they just think because my body was developing, I damaged something somewhere, like my pancreas years ago, and it just like set off on that day. Because I didn't really drink at the time for even like 2 years or whatever. I just have normal amounts. I wasn't binging or getting crazy or going out partying, especially because lockdown. And then, so then after that, I just had to like change so much. Because I was like, I'm making sure I never end up in hospital again, because it was just the worst feeling I've ever had. And like, just, you know, not having your health. And literally in like 10 hours, your whole health just went off. Like, it was like literally that quick. Like, I was like laughing with my best friend filming this thing. And then the next morning it was like, I'm dead almost. Like, it was so crazy.
What steps did you take, like, after you came out of that from hospital and you decided I'm going to change my health?
It was such a slow process. Like, honestly, like, I reckon it took me about 7 months. And I remember saying this to someone, it took 7 months for me to feel like, okay, I can do something now. Like, I was like blacked out. Like, I didn't really know what I was doing. I kind of like gave up everything with my work and everything. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do anymore because I didn't feel like myself anymore, you know? I just kind of slowly, I started eating heaps more because I was so like, when you have that sickness, it makes you lose all your weight, basically, all your muscle. Like, you're literally nothing. So I just started slowly working out at home every day and just eating more and like just slowly trying to nurture myself. And then I met new people through being like that, and they helped me so much, like, just become better, you know? And I feel like I just needed to change a lot of things, and I've changed so many things. It's crazy. But I think I always needed to. I just didn't know how. Yeah. You know, and I always wanted to. I just didn't know how. I didn't have anyone to teach me. So.
Well, you look amazing.
Yeah, I feel good now, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like I wish I knew how to do this earlier, but I just didn't have the education.
I remember. Well, how you expected to know.
Exactly.
So, I mean.
Especially when you grow up the opposite. Like, I didn't have any of that in my family or like or whatever. So, I had no idea.
Yeah, I remember the Macca's posts and stuff.
That's how I grew up. Like, people just think like I did that for online, but that's literally who I was, and that was like my life. Now I haven't eaten McDonald's for like 4 years. I would never eat it. Yeah. But, you know, I actually eat burgers like 3, 4, 5 times a week sometimes, and I just make my own. It takes 10 minutes, and you don't have to give up things that you love to be healthy. You know, I eat pizzas and burgers all the time, but I
see you're cooking.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
So you don't...
Pastas.
You know, people think being healthy is eating a salad. That's where I stuffed up. When I would try and be healthy in the past, I would literally eat, not even joking, spinach with like cut up potato and carrots, like literally no oil, nothing, because I was like, that's healthy. Like, extreme. But like now I'm like actually healthy, where it's like I eat chocolate every day. I eat everything I want. I just will make it myself or eat like a, you know, clean version of it. And even I'll have dinners out once a week, once every 2 weeks. Like, I don't restrict myself at all. And like, that's what health is, you know? Yeah. It's not just being like, oh, I'm just going to eat salads. Like, you can't even get enough nutrition from just eating salads. Like, it's crazy.
Totally. And cutting out carbs and all that shit.
Yeah. I live off carbs.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's where you get your energy.
Yeah.
None of that. None of that here. So, especially for people listening that are trying to cut down alcohol consumption, how was that for you, cutting out alcohol to start off with?
It was really hard because I feel like, you know, I relied on it to be confident. And it was just the hardest thing was like when people would come over and people would be drinking, I would feel like I'm boring or something. Like, that was just myself telling me that. And to be honest, I probably was, because I was dealing with so much and I wasn't myself at the time. Yeah. So I would just find it really hard to like be around it. And I constantly was thinking, I want to have some as well. And like, I just it would just be really hard. So I kind of had to like disappear from so many people for a while just to like get used to it, you know? And then I think it was after like 2 years, I was like, oh, I don't need it. And at those times, I was building myself up better, healthier and stronger and making myself feel good. So I was like kind of forgetting about it. And now it's like I am drunk when I'm with people. Like there's like no difference anymore. It's just like I'm on their level, even if I don't drink, you know, like it doesn't even mean anything to me anymore. And like, literally, sometimes I do think, oh, wish I could have a glass of wine, but then I'm like, why would I when I've gone this far and to put yourself at risk of that sickness again? Like, are you serious? Or even death, like you can die from having that.
Did you get any professional help to help you with that, or have you done this all on your own?
Everything by myself.
Wow,
yeah,
that's amazing.
Never even, like, I've never talked to a counsellor since I was in the foster system. They forced
that
you.
probably put you off. Let's be honest.
But they forced you. You had to, and they would take you out of class. Like it was just like ridiculous. So, and also they're just doing things to get your inner strength out, really. So I just find that with myself, and like, yeah, I think the most biggest thing though that I have had support with is my partner, my family, and my friends. And like that's actually what's gotten me through. If I didn't have them, I wouldn't. And my cats.
Yeah, of course.
If I didn't have them, I don't think I would even be able to do any of this.
Yeah.
Or even be like how I am now, you know?
Yeah, you need that support system, totally.
It's all about that. I think I don't need to speak to a random person about my issues, but I do need to speak to like my friends and family and my partner and everyone I love. And like that helps, you know?
Yeah. Does your partner drink?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not like, he never has been a binge drinker or anything, like since I've known him anyway, but like that's what I mean. I have no problem with it. Like people, especially because I've made posts about how I don't drink, people think I'm judging them or I'm against so much, but I'm actually just against binging on anything really, because that's what's bad for you. And anyone I know, if I see them doing that, I'm like, you need to take care of yourself. Like it's not about judging, it's bad for you. But I don't have a problem with alcohol. Like I can be around anything.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's using it as a vice is where it gets bad.
Exactly. And that's why I'm always, because of what I've gone through, I'll always look out for anyone I know, like that I see that's going like off the rails like that. Because I'm like, you know, you don't need that. Like you're good.
Yeah.
You know.
Would you say that when you were younger, you went through depression with everything that was going on?
I've had depression like so many times, like heaps of times. Like this is probably the longest I haven't had it for. And like the other times where it's been years is because I've been like drunk and like in a persona for so long that like I just didn't like connect with myself. But I reckon I've had so much depression, and I was like so fake it till you make it, like just be in love with yourself and just you'll eventually be in love with yourself. Like that's what I used to think. And like, you know, I feel like it actually worked, because I wouldn't even be able to pull myself out of such a low thing or stop drinking or become healthier if I didn't actually love myself. So it's like full circle as well for me. Just pretend you love yourself and you're amazing, whatever.
Do you feel like it was a cover up back then and now you really do love yourself?
Not really. Like it was like, I think subconsciously it was, but at the time I was just so believing that I believed it, you know? And like now when I think back, my actions didn't really show that I love myself. So maybe I didn't, but I truly believed it at the time.
Yeah.
I thought I was the best thing ever, even though it was probably a defense. But I definitely, like when I think back to those times, I'm like, I just thought I was so good, even though I know I wasn't looking back. But at the time, it's weird. I genuinely thought I was like, so in love with myself, so happy. Now I think back, I'm like, I know I wasn't, but it's weird because I actually felt like that, you know? So it's really like
it's definitely carried you through though. It gave you the strength that you needed, because like feeling, I don't know how you dealt with the media and all the hate. Like I commend you for your strength.
I don't know how I did, but that's probably how I did.
Yeah, I would say so.
And that's what I mean. When I think back to how I felt, I genuinely felt that. But when I look back, I'm like, how could I love myself and be so strong? Like, it's really strange. But I guess, you know, your body protects you like when you need to. And I already went through so much before all of that. And now I have shit days and good days, but I feel healthy. And that's like, to me, that's like loving yourself, because every day I'm doing something to take care of myself, you know, and I never really fall off the bandwagon anymore. Like, you know, I have days where I go, okay, I'm not doing anything, but like, I've never gone back. I've never gone back to drinking. I've never just given up trying to be better.
Yeah,
you know?
your discipline is so inspiring, like genuinely. Like obviously you need your rest days, but that discipline that you've had is so inspiring, especially for someone like me. Like I'm always up and down with things like that, like going to the gym and stuff. So like you just getting up every morning and you're going on your hot girl walks in the morning, like and it's fucking dark. Yeah, you have stuck to it.
And just, it's because I feel better. Like, you know, it actually helps me. And like I said, I never had stability in my life with anything. And this has literally given me some form of stability, because it's something I have to do every day to make myself feel good. And I keep doing it because it makes me feel so good. And no matter what, I'm like,
I love that.
I'll just keep going. You know, when you find something that actually helps you, and it's not drugs and alcohol, then you got to keep doing it.
Yeah. What advice could you give to anybody that is trying to change their lifestyle and get healthy?
I just think you need to learn off people. You know, everything that I've done, I've literally learned something off someone. And getting a trainer, getting a nutritionist, like those things, if you don't have a friend that can teach you where you need to start, because it's the education. I wish I knew all the things that I knew now. It's literally just knowing stuff. It's not like, oh, it's so hard to do. It's like, it's just that I didn't know how to do it. So I would think like, you know, just get education on how to be healthier, because that's all I've really done is just learn off other people.
Did you learn things online?
Sort of, but mostly from educated people that have done this their whole life, you know. And like my trainer, Wendy, she's taught me so much. She's one of my closest friends now. Like we have the best time every day. And like she is like a holistic nutritionist as well. So she taught me so much about just what you need to do to, like, you know, you're meant to eat certain amounts of certain things to make you function better. So it's just all of that type of stuff. And like, you know, the training and everything as well. Like that, it's not just for looks, like it's literally so you're gonna last longer in life, and you know, you can get around easier. Like I notice things, just getting out of a chair feels easy for me, even though it wasn't hard before, but it's a little bit easier now because of like building so much more muscle compared to before. Like, so imagine if it was me before and I went like 20 years with doing nothing, it'd be so bad. Like getting out of like a chair, you'd be like hunched over. So it's just for longevity. And I'm like one of those biohacker people now. Like I
love that.
Do anything to like be younger, feel younger, and like just do anything to take care of yourself, you know?
Yeah. If you could go back and talk to your younger self in the peak of when social media hit off and you were going through it, feeling really depressed and drinking a lot, what's something that you would say to yourself?
I would say, like, none of this is your fault, because you had no knowledge on how to do anything else. So, you know, I had no one really that could have like taught me how to get out of that. So, I just would say like it's not your fault and you're going to be so much better. Just like ride it out, you know. But like maybe like put down the drinks and ciggies. Because it's going to make your skin old.
I used to smoke as well.
Yeah. So bad.
What do you want your audience to take away from your journey? Like what advice could you give?
I think, you know, this is true self-love. I used to say it and I felt it, but maybe I wasn't the best at showing it before. But this is true self-love because, you know, everything I've gone through, it comes back to that. And it's so funny because now I feel that stronger than ever because I'm like, oh my God, look what I've achieved with just my body health and, you know, just mentally as well. Like I'm so level-headed now and I never was level-headed. So I'm just like, you know, that's true self-love. And if you ever followed me for that, like I was crazy before, but now like it's just the message came back to me so much stronger because it's what I've done to myself, and I had to love myself to do that. No one can do it for you as well. Like, people have helped me, but you have to do it yourself. And that's the main thing with any of this stuff is like, you have to do it yourself. You have to lift the weight yourself. You have to eat the food yourself. You have to mentally do it yourself. You can't rely on someone else to change your life. And I think my biggest thing that I would say to people is like, you can literally do anything you want and change so many things you want with yourself, your mindset. Like, you're literally limitless and it's all within you. And I didn't really realize how much until I've changed myself so much, but it's just breaking down so many patterns and even how you grew up, you know, just letting go of so much. And like, that's the best feeling. But I would just say, like, you can do anything.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, your journey really shows that as well.
Yeah,
like,
and
you've
I
gone
hope
through
it
so
does.
much.
Yeah.
And you're the happiest and healthiest you've ever been now.
100%. And I just feel normal. I feel like I never felt normal. And I just feel like normal now. I'm like, you know, I wake up and it's just a normal day and I'm working and just with my family and my friends, and it's a normal life and I'm happy and I'm doing what I love doing. Like, there's just something like so good in just having a normal life, not craziness.
Oh my God, I resonate with that so much.
Yeah, I've had so much craziness my whole life. So the normality and just the days cleaning the house for 5 hours and all that, it's just so good, you know?
Yeah,
like
the simple things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and just peace.
Yeah, just peace. And I have that. I don't have drama anymore. It's all cut out. I don't have those bad people around me. You know, when you're younger, like the drama people that cause all the trouble. Like, I don't have any of that for years now. So it's like, I'm so just happy for that.
Yeah. And what else can we expect from Kurt Coleman?
So much. And
you got things in the pipeline. It sounds like everything's really aligning in your life now, and I can't wait to see everything that you do.
Seriously, I feel like, you know, I've been waiting for years to just feel aligned with everything and everyone around me as well. So I'm really excited for the future and just so excited for just now. Like, it's a good, like, I'm having fun, you know.
It's a good vibe. 2025 is looking good, feeling
100%,
good.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much for coming on, Kurt. I'm so proud of you. Your journey is inspiring.
I'm proud of you and I love talking to you. And
thank you.
This is great. You're going to kill it.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to hear everything.
Thanks, babe. Love you so much.
Love you.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, please give it a share. You never know who might need a little emotional content in their life. For daily feel-good posts, follow @_emotional content on Instagram and TikTok. And don't forget to hit that follow button so you're notified every time a new episode drops. Your support means the absolute world to me.